Gold FM is #1 here in Sigatoka.
Gold FM is our favorite radio station here in Lautoka.
Gold FM is #1 in Nel.
I love listening to Gold FM in Ba.
We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits here in Suva.
Hear about bottled cola, you immediately think of gold. I'm Josephine Sabi and I love hearing Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
In this bulletin, alleged assault victim dies in hospital. Activist and Sadelpa Youth Council interim president investigated for using abusive words on social media. And Fiji Airways announces major partnership with Etihad Airways of the United Arab Emirates. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. 6 men are being questioned over the death of a colleague in Nawaithomba in Nandi. 49-year-old carpenter Vasudewa Naidu was allegedly beaten up by 6 co-workers on Monday evening. At first, the family reported he received a telephone call that day to accompany someone from his work on a drive to Suva. That evening, he turned up at the door of his home critically injured and was taken to hospital where he died overnight. Police spokesperson Ananai Soro says the case is being treated as murder and some strange details are surfacing.
The initial report that we have is that he was assaulted for allegedly practicing witchcraft by the fellow employees. But that is still on investigation stages. However, we can confirm that there was a counter report that was lodged by the owner of the business, and it was against the victim for allegedly stealing an item or wallet, to be precise.
The police investigation is continuing and a post-mortem will be conducted. So far, no charges have been laid in the case. Internal proceedings are underway against Social Democratic Liberal Party's Youth Council interim president Peter Wangavonovono. Wangavonovono had used abusive words and inappropriate language on the social media platform Twitter. Chanel Sivan reports.
Youth activist Peter Wangavonovono is the interim president of youth arm of the Social Democratic Liberal Party since his appointment in February. The tweets were made on his personal Twitter account. Sodelpa has confirmed that Wangavonovono's actions are being addressed.
Peter is a young person, a young leader who we took on board as our party president, youth president, as it were. And as I said, the internal procedures for that in terms of the issues that you're mentioning. Yeah? So we're dealing with that internally for the time being. Yeah? He hasn't been removed. There are procedures to be followed there. And so we'll go through with that there.
Party leader Rotei Mumukepa says it is an internal matter.
No, Mr. Wangavonovono is a valuable member of the Sodelpa party, and we appreciate the assistance that he's given us thus far. And anything that happens within the party, that should be kept in-house, and I, at this stage, would not like to make any comment about Mr. Wangavonovono.
This afternoon, Party Communications Officer Chese Sikivo told FBC News not to proceed with the story, to refrain from contacting Wangavonovono, and there was no internal disciplinary actions taken against him. Like Facebook, Twitter is an online social networking service that enables users to send and read messages called tweets. Registered users can read and post tweets, but unregistered users can only read them. The government has indicated that laws could soon be drafted to address abuse of forums such as social media platforms. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
FBC News made several attempts to contact Wangavonovono but was unsuccessful. An investigation is underway into the circumstances surrounding the death of a 50-year-old taxi driver at a motel in Suva on Sunday. Police spokesperson Ananai Soro says the man had checked into the motel with an 18-year-old youth who later reported the death. Naisoro says they are now waiting the post-mortem examination results. The youth was questioned by police and released. The Social Welfare Ministry says it investigates about 5 cases of child abuse every week. The latest statistics show a total of 312 cases recorded in the National Child Welfare Register last year. Shireen Lata reports.
The cases reported last year include child neglect, physical and sexual abuse, emotional abuse, teenage pregnancies, malnutrition and abandoned babies.
Alarming figures is that, the sad part is that, there is more sexual abuse cases that have been reported us in comparison to other abuse cases that have been reported.
There were 90 sexual abuse cases.
Despite the child welfare decree and so on, this sort of thing continues. For us, we need to have tighter measures put into place. We need to have a welfare system that responds to children, that is able to, help them through.
The Social Welfare Ministry is urging the public to come forward and report any child welfare cases that they may be aware of. The Child Welfare Decree was endorsed by the Cabinet in 2010 and it requires mandatory reporting of all child welfare cases by professionals like medical officers, legal officers, social welfare officers and teachers.
Is the sickness that's growing within our communities and society, which needs to be sort of harnessed now and stopped. I believe the responsibilities lie a lot on all of us in the community.
There are various ways the cases are dealt with by the Social Welfare Ministry. Officers have to ensure the child has a safe place to stay, particularly if they are at risk in their homes. Upon assessment, the welfare officer gets a care order from court so that the child can be kept in a residential home until the case is resolved. Shahrin Lata, FBC News.
President Ratuepeli Nailatikau and the President of the Marshall Islands have called for more engagement between the two countries. Ratuepeli is visiting the small island state as part of the Fijian government's commitment to closely engage with her Pacific Island neighbors. It was also an opportunity for the President to brief both his counterpart and members of the Marshallese government on Fiji's electoral developments. Ratuepeli also took time to visit the Fijian community living on Majuro and will next make a state visit to the Federated States of Micronesia in the Northern Pacific. Fiji Airways held the official launch of its partnership agreement with Etihad Airways in the United Arab Emirates today. This move means opening Fiji up to a huge market, including more than 50 cities across the globe. Ellen Stahls filed this story.
This new partnership between our national airline and Etihad Airways will no doubt put Fiji on the map in countries where we had no presence before. Managing Director and CEO of Fiji Airways, Stefan Pikla, says since he took over the company in September last year, there were changes that had to be made.
There were many questions posed to the CEO of Fiji Airways today at a press conference in Suva. However, he mentioned 3 key areas in which he'd like to work on as Fiji Airways moves forward.
So the first area of huge improvement is that we develop the brand, that we create an aspirational consumer brand, Fiji Airways. We needed to talk and listen to our customers, which means not only the customers on board our aircraft and the feedback we get from onboard service, etc., but also our staff. And the last big area for me was something which was discussed before, but it was not planned as well, probably, which was just develop job and career opportunities for Fijian people.
The new agreement will open up markets for imports and perhaps more importantly, exports of Fiji goods to markets unavailable until now. Ellen Stahls, FBC News.
Coming up on FBC News, Thai Level School receives new desks and chairs from New Zealand government.
Ito singa to kung tali ta na baro nga radio Fijuan na station ngal mo to.
Ako na koro ko na tali ta. Mandaw tali ta kini na baro radio Fijuan.
Kitongo isu untuk tali ta na baro na radio Fijuan station ngal mo to.
Kito tali ta na radio Fijuan. Na radio Fijuan endo tali ta nga Singapore.
Station di Masno Pinatia na radio Fijuan ko yan.
Na Radio Fijuan nandumay bitin na bongga ni BNN.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. The Transport Ministry is reviewing its franchise scheme as demand for shipping services increases. Director Transport Louis Naisara revealed this on a Radio Fiji 1 talkback show today. Naisara says the construction of new jetties and the increasing size of cargo have triggered the review of the Fiji shipping franchise scheme. Currently, there are only 4 privately owned vessels and 4 government boats servicing the 10 registered ports in the Lau and Lomaiviti groups, Bambadeva in Kandavu and Rotuma. A new franchise route will be surveyed by the MV Singavo from today in the northern Vanua Levu region, which include the Kombia and Angela Levu Islands and the coasts of Undu and Sangani on Vanua Levu. Ratu Filimoni Lotho Memorial School at Sawakasa in Tailevu today received over 100 tables, desks and chairs from the New Zealand government. This is one of the largest donations given by the New Zealand High Commission to any local school. Eleanor Tarangaivu was at the handover today.
These happy faces say it all. They are students of Ratu Filimoni Lotho Memorial School who on Monday started using the new desks and chairs.
It's good. Because all the furniture is not really good. All the things were broken.
It makes us like to come to school. The old desk is it's not good. And sit properly, no broken chairs. When visitors come to school, they see the new furniture, and parents they were proud of it.
These new desks and chairs have been a long-term need of the school and has already boosted school performance and improved the school role.
2 or 3 students were sharing one bench, and you'll know how that affects the children's performance in the class. I mean, the concentration is not there in the classroom. The focus is not there because most of the time they were not comfortable with their sitting. So when these new furniture came, we really saw big changes. Yeah. Firstly, coming to school. They like coming to school now because they are using new furniture compared to the old ones that they've been using.
The $12,000 donation comes under the New Zealand government's small grant scheme and further cements the relationship between the 2 countries.
The New Zealand aid program to Fiji is still quite large, even with all the problems that have gone on at the government-to-government level. And this year it will be a little over 11 million New Zealand dollars, which is about 15 or 16 million Fijian dollars. But we expect that to grow quite quickly.
Ratu Filimoni Lotho Memorial School is attended by class 1 to 8 students from the nearby villages of Burerua and Sawakasa and the numerous settlements in between. Eleanor Tarangaivu, FBC News.
The Land Transport Authority is looking at increasing some of its fines. Out of the 6 areas of driving procedures surveyed, it's been seen that increases are needed for penalties imposed on drivers who breach road rules. Savara Tambua has more.
The LTA feels penalties imposed on drivers who contravene traffic laws are too lenient, and the authority will propose harsher fines.
For these fines will need to be increased. You're talking about saving lives. You're talking about the safety of our people, the safety on our roads. It's a life and death situation. And when you touch that kind of subject, you look into what are some of the weak areas and those that are threatening our safety on the roads. You would like to see that the penalty are tough enough.
That's a very good idea. I support it.
From my point of view, I think it's a good idea. They should get harsh penalties.
Complaints received from the public have triggered the action to be taken on this issue. It has also assisted the authority to determine changes on some of its working procedures.
So thankful to members of the public for their continued support in terms of reporting to the authority about this bad driving behavior and attitude.
The Land Transport Authority reiterates that imposing penalties will act as a deterrent to drivers who break the rules on our roads. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
Local and international filmmakers at the Oceania International Film Festival are making plans for more movies to be produced in Fiji. Josephine Navula reports.
Now the 50 of the islands in the world Oceania International Film, and the idea of Fiji-made productions is getting a serious discussion. Local filmmaker Dr. Mohit Prasad says they've made some plans in terms of international collaboration with Israeli and European filmmakers.
I think they were quite interested in the incentive schemes that we have here. So I did a few locations for them.
Dr. Prasad says international filmmakers want to produce something in Fiji featuring the local flavor.
The difference with them is that they don't want to come and make a Bollywood film or a Hollywood film. They want to come and make a Fiji film. So when they come with their production, it will be about a Fiji film. So my task is to find a good script and a script that is, relevant to everybody.
Meanwhile, Israeli filmmaker Dan Wallman says there is something different about a Fiji film.
It's a Fiji film, that it has something special about it. And it won't look like an Indian film or an American film, but it will look like a Fiji film. A film that will use the landscapes and the people here, the wealth of the people here, human wealth.
The Islands in the World Festival is being seen as an eye-opener for local filmmakers. Now with the international cinematographers coming on board, it will provide a wealth of knowledge to our local film productions. Josephine Novula, FBC News.
We turn to sports now. How's it, Jamie? What do you have for us tonight?
Well, Jackie, and good evening. Up ahead, a familiar face returns to Fiji netball, and Fiji's voice of soccer disappointed with Nandi Football's OFC performance. Details after the break.
Golnga elambasa Mbula FM number 2 na sere.
Ndo talita kana borong na Mbula FM number 2 na sere su.
Kau buat itu gara-garaki au nrebet juga ni stima. Au ndo talita kana borong na Mbula.
Kalau bina Fiji Mbula FM number 2 singa toka.
Mbula bina era roga. Mbula FM number 2 tikonga.
Mbula FM number 2 na sere.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. Come May, Julie Hornweg returns to our shows to coach the Fiji Pearls once again. She's no stranger to Netball Fiji, having led the national team to a 6th place finish at the World Netball Championship in 1999. As Elena McDonald reports, she's been brought back to whip national reps into shape ahead of upcoming internationals.
Julie Hornweg's return to Netball Fiji is great news for the sport, but she won't be here for long.
We've secured her only for 6 weeks, specifically for the Fiji national team, the Fiji Pearls. It's a short-term contract. Unfortunately, when we were negotiating the contract, she's asked for just a short-term contract because of some personal commitments that she has.
Netball Fiji officials have justified hiring the former England coach.
The fact that she's just recently been acknowledged by the International Netball Federation as a technical advisor on coaching, speaks volume for the caliber of the coach that we are getting.
Once her 6 weeks is finished, under the Fiji government sporting grant for an overseas coach, the Fiji Pearls can expect another coach at the end of June.
Yes, we are in fact talking to another one, and we hope to rope her in before the end of June. And she has to relocate. So by the time Julie leaves, there's a permanent coach that's in place.
Hornweg was handpicked from a list of 3 shortlisted applicants. Her vast experience will no doubt benefit the national side, which is preparing for the World Netball Cup qualifiers against the Cook Islands in June. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
After 9 match days of the OFC Champions League in the West, Fiji's voice of soccer, Raymond Stoddart, has slammed the Nandi football team's poor performance. The Green Machine failed to win a match and conceded 14 goals in 3 games. Elena McDonald spoke to Stoddart on his views.
Against Auckland City, Nandi lost 3-0. Against Amikal FC, it was 6-0. Before losing 5-0 to Tahiti's AS Dragon outfit over 3 days.
I think it was a pathetic performance by Nandi. They didn't have discipline, they didn't have any comradeship, they had individual play, and they just didn't know what to do on the field at that level. And it goes to show the exposure that Ba has got over the years has kept them where they are, and they've gone into the semis. But for Nandi, it's not going back to the blackboard, it's going back to some sort of school of discipline.
The Ba football side is left to carry Fiji's hopes in the OFC Champions League semi-finals.
Ba's got to do well in the first game, in the first semi-final, and in Vanuatu they've got to try and keep their composure and try and hold them there, because we know how cynical is the right word to use the Vanuatu fans get. They have invaded the pitch before when Lautoka was playing in the O-League, and and this one here is even bigger because that's a step away from the finals.
The semi-finals will be played next weekend, with Mba set to face Amikal FC at Govind Park, while Auckland City takes on AS Pirae. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
The Vodafone Fiji Sevens team camp in Deumba has proven to be interesting for the national coach.
Tired bodies after Nawaka Sevens, which was a real marathon of a tournament, but they're slowly getting back, and it's good to get them all together again. We haven't been together since Hong Kong.
While last weekend's Fiji Better Nawaka Sevens tournament was good for some, it's damaged the chances for a certain key rep.
There's been a few boys with some injuries, so Samasoni very got good news, got over his shoulder and then picked up a bit of a calf hamstring strain in Nawaka, so he'll be back probably training tomorrow. Benito's okay, he's training, Oscar's training, Pio again shouldn't really have played at the weekend, and he's picked up another knock again, so he's a bit of a doubt if I'm honest with you, and most of the others look as though they should be fine.
Ryan names his final 12 next Thursday, who will compete in the Glasgow and London Sevens. Cricket Fiji today received a major boost for the Easter Cricket Championship from Life Insurance Corporation of India, better known as LICI. Today they presented a check for $10,000 to Cricket Fiji officials for the tournament. 8 teams are competing in the tournament now in its third day at Albert and Buckhurst Parks.
Tournaments, other than the Easter tournaments also, we had been associated with Cricket Fiji, and we are very happy to be part of it. I'm sure the weather is good, so probably we'll have a very good cricket this season, and we hope to see very lively sessions during this time.
The final match will be broadcast live on FBCTV on Easter Monday. Sports plays an important role in the fight against non-communicable or lifestyle diseases. In an effort to improve lives and limit NCDs, the World Health Organization has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Oceania National Olympic Committee. The committee believes that Fijians should join a sport to stay fit so that we develop a healthy nation. They're committed to recreational sports for everyone.
The evidence in Fiji is that we're having people that are overweight and that are not physically active, and they're not taking part in sport. So although we promote organized sport, we also look at recreational sport, because if you have healthy people, then you have a healthy nation, and with that we can expect then more and more sportsmen to come out, particularly when working through the schools level.
That was your sports for tonight. It's back to Jackie now with business.
A local businessman is expected to open a new motel in July. The New Look Motel, situated on Holland Street in Suva, is expected to open soon. Tarun Ambala, the man behind this initiative, says a shortage of accommodation in the capital has inspired him to construct this 20-room motel. The construction started in June last year and is costing close to $1 million. Meanwhile, the famous Capricorn Hotel in Suva is for sale at a price of $80 million. Managing Director Malchan Patel says he has received expressions of interest.
Well, people are just inquiring now. They came and saw the property, and I think most of them they liked it. Then ask them to send it to tender.
Patel expects the hotel to be sold by the end of the month. Perfect weather today. How's things on your end, Trish?
That's right, Jackie. Good weather galore today for us. Fine weather for all the 6 major centers. Fine in the morning and the afternoon for Nadi, Lautoka, Ba, the Hidden Paradise, Savu, and also for Lambasa. But for the capital city, a bit cloudy in the morning, but fine in the afternoon. Looking into today's temperatures, well, for the capital city, Suva and Savu were at 30 degrees, whereas Nadi, Lautoka, and Ba also hit a temperatures of 31. Well, that's our everyday temperature, folks, but aren't we lucky not to be in Prospect Creek, Alaska, where it once hit negative 62.1 degrees. Now that's cold. Looking into tomorrow's weather for Suva, it'll be cloudy in the morning, but fine in the afternoon. But for it's opposite for Savu Savu, fine in the morning, but cloudy in the afternoon. But for the rest of the centers, good news, as Nandi, Lotoka, Ba, and Lambasa will have fine weather all day. Now this very interesting picture is of last night, partial lunar eclipse, sometimes called a blood moon, which used to create superstition in some cultures. This was shot from Ritova Street in Suva.
Thanks so much for that, Trish. Recapping our headlines, 6 men are being questioned over the death of a carpenter in Nandi. Sodelpa is carrying out an internal proceeding against its Youth Council interim president Peter Wangavonovono for using abusive words on social media, and Fiji Airways announces major partnership with Etihad Airways of the United Arab Emirates. To this week's poll question, we're asking, should the old railway bridge be demolished? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's FBC News tonight till tomorrow at the same time. Bye for now.
Tale type na radio Fiji One na mwirani nonda bonua.
Ando tale taka na borrongo na radio Fiji One singa toka mboleta ni station ni alumatu.
Ando tale taka bale una borrongo na radio Fiji One station ni alumatu ilo toka.
Ando tale taka bale una borrongo na radio Fiji One mandi na station ni alumatu.
Au tungo korbo ando borrongo leve na station ni alumatu na radio Fiji One. Ando borrongo na radio Fiji One na station ni alumatu na mandoi tele.
Na radio Fiji One nando mwe biti na bonga ni BNN.